Okay, guys, I'm going to do a little a video here about Hurricane Michael becoming a Category 3 storm and thousands fleeing its path in Florida. Tens of thousands flee storm, which has already killed at least 13. Michael's set to make landfall in Florida on Wednesday. Hurricane Michael grew into a major Category 3 storm as it continued to plow through the Gulf of Mexico towards a potentially catastrophic landfall along the Florida Panhandle, where tens of thousands of people were scrambling to flee its deadly path. With a maximum sustained winds climbing 220 miles per hour by its arrival on Wednesday, according to National Hurricane Center in Miami, Governor Rick Scott said Michael was expected to be the most destructive storm to hit Florida Panhandle in decades. The wind speeds were expected to rise still further before the storm strikes land on Wednesday. More than 20 million people across 5 states, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, and Carolinas, were under the hurricane tropical storm warning by Tuesday evening. Tens of thousands still scrambled to flee its path from coastal and low-lying areas were warned that time is running out. The storm has claimed at least 13 lives during its northern march through the Western Caribbean and Central America. Donald Trump made a disaster declaration for Florida that allows the resources of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, to be deployed. Early reports of flooding from Panhandle were received before nightfall. In its 5 p.m. advisory on Tuesday, the NHC reported Michael was sending out wind gusts of 150 miles per hour from its core, but warned that the storm surge were up to 12 feet, also potentially deadly. Although authorities advised that the hurricane was expected to reach a sustained 125 mile an hour by landfall, only 5 mile an hour short of Category 4 status that would devastate large areas, leave homes without power for weeks. Please evacuate now, the Bay County Sheriff Tom Ford said, warning of the storm surge of up to 12 feet that would completely engulf many waterfront properties. I can't stress strongly enough the importance of leaving as early as possible. Evacuation routes can quickly turn into traffic nightmares, which we've all seen. He said residents would not be dragged from their houses, but made it clear that anyone who chooses to stay would be on their own. Officials, including President Donald Trump, Scott, and Andrew Gulman, the Tallahassee mayor aiming to become governor in the next month's election, all urged citizens not to underestimate the storm, as they shouldn't underestimate any storm for that matter. Today is about life and safety, Gulman said, and he helped city residents fill sandbags for flood defenses on Monday. There's nothing between us and this storm but warm water, and I think that's what terrifies us about the potential impacts. Okay? And also, people, evacuation means not only you, okay, but your animals as well. Stop leaving your animals behind to have to be rescued by people, okay? The way you take your children, take your fucking animals, and stop with the bullshit. If you don't care enough about your animals to take them out of an evacuation, then you should not have them. Speaking at an emergency management briefing on Tuesday morning, Scott, who declared the state of emergency in 35 of Florida's 67 counties from the Panhandle to Tampa Bay, said that the forecast keeps getting more dangerous. This storm will be life-threatening and extremely dangerous. At the White House, Donald Trump told reporters the federal government was very well prepared. In western Cuba, Michael triggered flash floods, mudslides in the mountain areas. Disaster agencies in El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua reported 13 deaths as roofs collapsed and residents were carried away by swollen rivers. 6 people died in Honduras, 4 in Nicaragua, and 3 in El Salvador. Authorities were searching for a boy swept away by a river in Guatemala. Heavy rain swamped the region at the weekend after Michael formed off the coast of Honduras. Scott activated hundreds of National Guard members and waved tolls to encourage evacuations. He also warned caregivers at the North Florida hospitals and nursing homes to do all possible to ensure the safety of the elderly and the infirm. Following Hurricane Irma last year, 14 people died when South Florida nursing home lost power and air conditioning, which they should have backup generators in all hospitals and nursing homes. If you're responsible for a patient, you're responsible for the patient. Take care of them, Scott said. Sheriff David Morgan of Escambia County bluntly advised residents choosing to ride it out that first responders would not be able to reach them while Michael hits the coast. If you decide to stay in your home and a tree falls on your house or a storm surge catches you and you're now calling for help, there's no one that can respond to you. In a small city like Appalachia, Mayor Van Johnson Sr. said 2,300 residents were frantically preparing for what could be a strike unlike any seen in their decades. Many filled sandbags and boarded up homes and lined up to buy gas and groceries before leaving town. We're looking at a significant storm with significant impact, possibly greater than I've seen in 59 years of my life, Johnson said, as his city on the shore of the Appalachian Bay, where about 90% of Florida's oysters are harvested. Okay. No shelters will be in Wakulla County. The sheriff's office warned on Facebook because they are rated safe only for hurricanes with sustained winds below 101 miles an hour. With Michael's winds projecting to be even stronger, residents are urged to evacuate inland. The storm has a potential to be horrific. Please take heed, the sheriff's office said in the post. The entire neighboring state of Alabama is under the emergency declaration, and Governor Kay Ivey said she feared widespread power outages and other problems would follow. Forecasters warned spin-off tornadoes could also be a threat. Guys, please, if you're going to stay, make sure that you stock up on emergency candles and you stock up on canned goods and you stock up on pet food if you have pets. You stock up on water and, have a backup generator because, these are things that you have to do in preparing yourself if you're not going to leave. In Georgia, Governor Nathan Deal declared state of emergency for more than 90 counties, and in North and South Carolina, areas affected by flooding in Hurricane Florence last month were bracing for a foot of more additional rainfall. Now, remember, North Carolina saw huge deaths in their factory farming areas, the chickens, the cows, the pigs. Let's not see this happen again, okay? Because if it happens again, then that just shows that people just don't give a fuck, okay? And maybe they should die slowly and drowned the way that these animals are being forced to. Speaking in Orlando on Monday, Trump said he had made federal resources available to authorities in Florida. As Hurricane Michael nears landfall, we are working with state and local officials to take all necessary precautions. I told you, Rick Scott, that we are ready for you. Looks like another big one, but we've handled them well, the president said. Okay? I just think that people need to seriously, get with it, people. Get with it. Stop leaving your animals behind. If you're going to leave, take your animals with you. Just stop being irresponsible, okay? Because then other people have to go in and risk their lives in order to save these animals. And I also heard a story which I'm not too pleased with, that a neighbor watched a dog that lived across the street from him literally drowned in the floodwaters and recorded it. Didn't feel a need to rescue the animal, didn't feel a need, to take him to safety, but just watched him basically drown. And you know what, people, there's a special place in hell for people like that. It just can't come soon enough for me. So my prayers are with everybody who is going to be impacted by this. And my prayers go out to all these animals. And just please take your animals with you, people. Please stop with the bullshit, okay? Just stop being irresponsible pricks. Do me that favor. I'll keep you guys updated.